this in regards to the save issues that a bunch of you are having. And hopefully I get to everybody that's on the list. If you don't hear anything that I'm saying that applies to you, by all means, please drop it in the comments below so that way I can rectify it or get some further information. But I'm telling you right now, it really does not bode well. I'm Darkshard, the YouTube Assassin. Let's try to save our Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Hours upon hours of gameplay, your saves are getting deleted or erased or disappearing, corrupted. And it's a very heartbreaking thing. I mean, nobody wants to play for several hours only to have their gameplay erased, only to have it just removed. That is just the pinnacle of frustration. And it seems to be a server error. So what I had suggested was that if you are playing, make sure that you upload your save data directly to the cloud if you're on PS4, PS5. And if you're not, if you're playing on Xbox, or even if you don't have access to like the cloud on the PS4, PS5, which you should, get yourself a USB, a thumb drive, and just put the thumb drive in your system, and at the end of your game session, download your information to the thumb drive. And then when you're ready to play, if you're missing that data, if you're missing that save, you're able to upload it from your USB directly into your system. Now, the reason that this is happening, at least one of the stories that I got for the reason of this happening, is because they want, for when you're doing a transition from PS4 to PS5 and Xbox One to Xbox Series S. Now, the other thing that's actually pretty cool about this is that if I own an Xbox One and I own Valhalla for the Xbox One, right now I'm playing it on the PS4, I could just walk away from my PS4, it'll upload to their servers, and then it'll download to my Xbox. So when I go to play it on Xbox, I've got all my saved data there. Now, I don't need to tell you that that is pretty annoying at the same time that it's actually kind of cool. There really should be a function so that you could turn that off, because it does get annoying. I would prefer to be able to start the game from the very beginning if I'm playing on a different system, or even if I'm playing on this system. I should be able to start a new game with no problems. So what's happening is that the system is automatically correcting and removing any other save and readjusting it for the last save or the last game played. So it causes just a lot of problems. So now, one of the things that cannot be done, you cannot give your account information to a friend. My son I do have game sharing with my son. I do allow him to play, you know, my games and whatnot. If I make a purchase of a game, and it's perfectly legal, you could do it up to 2 game systems where you're giving, you know, like the other person. It's not really intended for other people. It's not really intended for like me to let my neighbor down the block play the game or anything like that. It's really intended for, you know, if you've got multiple units in the home. So like, you know, for instance, my son and I'm able to give the account information of mine to my son so that he could take that, he could download all the games that I've got on my system, he could download it to his system, and he could play with no problem. Now what happens is that if we're playing the same game, let's say Far Cry 5 for example, which is one of the games we've got on each system, he could play, obviously it has his own information, and I have got my own save on my system. And we get together, we play, and there's no problems. What's happening in this case is a massive problem. If my son downloads Valhalla and he starts playing it, he's going to get my save data transferred to his system. And again, the reason for that is because the game, again, to make it easy for when you're upgrading to like one of the new gen or the next gen systems, which actually by now are current gen systems. Again, it's really, really annoying because we cannot do anything besides, you know, like whatever we're trying to do. It makes no sense. You want to play your game, you can't. So the situation is that if you have your shared game info, if you go and give it to your friend, you give your account information, they download the game, when they start playing the game, what's going to happen is that they're going to start from the beginning. They're going to overwrite your information. When you go to play, all your information is gone. So right then and there, the very first thing you should do is not give your account information to somebody else for them to download the game. Now, the second problem here is that even if you gave your friend your information, and let's say he or she plays the game, they buy their own copy of the game. Let's say they buy the digital copy or even the hard copy. As long as your information is on their system, it's gonna overwrite. You were the first one to be playing Valhalla. So it's really a muddled mess. It absolutely is. What you're gonna have to do if you want to play the game, you need your own copy, and you need not have your information on somebody else's system. Even if you don't have the game downloaded, it's still gonna recognize your information because it's on their system. So that causes a problem. The other thing that's going on is that you have to play this game online. It is not an offline game. For those of you who have, you know, like really crappy internet, or you've got, you know, a situation where you're not home, where you're out. I know somebody said that they're on a ship, that they're, you know, they're out at sea, so they play the games offline on PC. Even that being the case, you're not going to be able to play, because what ends up happening is that there's nothing for the information to upload to. It's not going to upload to anything. It can't download to anything, so that causes the data corruption. So that is another pain as far as this goes. It's just a complete mess. It's a completely sticky situation, and in order for you guys to play, like I said, you're gonna have to, number one, you gotta make sure you're online while you're playing. Number two, you have to make sure that you are not sharing and have your information on anybody else's system, because again, your information will go over there. It's just really crazy. Now, as far as the saves go, you can manually save multiple times, but apparently once the cloud kicks in, it just assumes that all the data is yours for your one file, so it starts deleting the extra saves. The extra saves are there, but what you're going to have to do is, like, every 15 minutes switch to your other save and save again. It's a mess right now. It's completely insane. So Ubisoft really does need to patch that. They need to figure that out. And yeah, I would appreciate it if they had a way of turning that off, because we can't play like this. You can't You cannot, in all seriousness, play your game. You have a massive gaming session. You know how us gamers are. Massive gaming session. And then all of a sudden, you lost all that information. You lost 16 hours. You lost 32 hours. You lost a week's worth of information. That's just unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Some of you are actually writing to me and telling me that you're giving up on the game. You're giving up on the fight. And I don't blame you. I cannot sit here, play a game, lose all my information, and then act like nothing happened and just start over from the beginning. That's crazy. If it was like a 3-hour game, yeah, fine. You're investing hundreds of hours in this game. That is completely unacceptable. And this is the information that I'm trying to convey to Ubisoft, because I feel for everybody. I feel for you guys. And it shouldn't be happening. It really shouldn't. At all. Data crash, corruption, or loss of saves. What's going on with you? Are you game sharing? Because if you are, then, you know, I just explained the situation. If you're sharing a system where there's 2 accounts on one system, it's going to be the same thing as well. Are you playing offline? Because offline, again, that's causing some of the data corruption, because the system can't download or reload anything because there's nothing for the cloud to activate to. And that's, again, another really serious problem. I'd love to hear from you. If none of those are your situation, definitely let me know what's going on. I'd love to hear from you so that I could try to contact Ubisoft again and really get this going, because this is frustrating. This is frustrating me. This is frustrating me because, you know, I'm hearing all these horror stories, and it worries me that, like, it's going to happen to me too. That's why I've been, every hour or so, I've been uploading my data to the cloud and a USB thumb drive, just in case, just for extra added protection. But will that work? Will I get to a point where my data is absolutely corrupted? I don't know. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below. Email me, stridernet@gmail.com. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Facebook. Hit me up, get a hold of me. Explain to me your situation, and let me try to fix it. I can't guarantee I'll fix it, but I'm really working on this hard, because this is not fair. It really isn't. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out an awful lot. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. And until the next one, take care. And hopefully, you don't lose any more data.